Hello, and welcome to episode 4 of Skipping the Queue. I am your new host, Rasen. Red's tragically passed away in a... Actually, Red is cryogenically frozen for 2 centuries, unfortunately. We might be caught up to modern Ultraman by then. Who can say? I haven't looked at the sheet in a while. I am joined by Mel.
How often have you looked at the sheet, Rasen?
Once every, 5 weeks. Wondering what Ultraman I'll be on by the time my firstborn is around. Nothing's happening on that front. If anyone was curious, but you know.
So unlike the CEO this episode, you do not have any babies in the works.
No. But yeah, it's good being back from vacation. Everything seemed to go exceptionally fine without my backup, I saw. So
yes, we had no problems whatsoever.
I listened to one of the podcasts that came out. I think 2 came out while I was on that trip.
Yeah.
One of them, yes. One of them I listened to while falling asleep in one of the grimiest fucking motels I've ever slept in my life.
Okay.
And then the other one while I was dozing off, half trying to sleep on a car trip as a passenger. So,
yeah.
Mel, do we want to give an update actually on the whole SAG-AFTRA thing? Because we didn't put out a normal episode because we weren't sure because we did not want to skip any picket lines, even though we're skipping the queue.
Yeah.
So no normal episode was out, but it seems like we've gotten clarification.
Yeah, we got clarification. Dr. Jackson of GGP of Normal Mapping fame. This told us that streaming anime and by extension Toko is fine as a foreign product, so we should be good. So we should probably expect that episode from last week that Red and I recorded this Thursday, I think.
Hopefully, we'll see.
Hopefully. Otherwise, I would have been like, well, damn, what do we do? But we've thought of something, even if it was just a break.
Yeah.
I had considerations for backups, but also Red was open to the idea of a break, but it seems like it doesn't matter in the end anyway.
Yeah.
We just kind of worked out because Red isn't here anyway this week, so we can just we didn't have an episode last week, so we just have the one from last week in the tank for this week. Because we're not recording.
Ultra Q hosts are busy people has been the lesson of the last 3 weeks.
I'm going to be busy in August, to be honest. More on that later.
Yeah. But yeah, we're here to talk about episode. I really want to keep saying 3, and I don't know why. It's 4 of Blazar.
Yeah. Just before we start, you have not been here for 2 weeks, so you just want to give your Cliff's Notes thoughts on episodes 2 and 3.
Well, I rewatched episode 2 because I watched it the first time with you on Bad Hotel Wi-Fi while I
I was just like, yo, I just talked to the group chat, hey, who wants to watch with me? And Red, for time zones reasons, didn't want to voice chat, even if they're very eager to, more than willing to watch Blazar at 3 a.m. But you were willing to watch.
Yes, I was also intoxicated.
Yeah, less than ideal watching conditions.
The Wi-Fi kept stuttering, and there would be 20-second spans of time where I just the screen was frozen.
Yeah,
I don't remember if I said anything.
Yeah, I also misplaced my headset for the first 10 minutes of the episode. So,
yeah. So I rewatched that one a day or two later. I thought episode 2 is probably my least favorite. I think it's fun and fine. I still liked it.
Yeah.
I liked episode 3 a lot, and after episode 4, I think might be my new favorite.
Yeah,
but
episode 1
is
with the show. Episode 1 is very establishing the setting and our protagonist and the hero, and then episode 2 is establishing the rest of the cast. Episode 3 is a bit more getting into the rhythm of things and fleshing out the dynamics a bit more.
Yes, and episode 2 also too. I feel episode 2 is important because it's also like, oh hey, this show will get silly in like a fun, like playful way. The fishing thing is so fucking funny.
Yeah.
And then I think episode 3 and 4 both do a really great job of kind of synthesizing the mood and kind of the vibe from both episode 1 and episode 2.
Yeah, what I've been doing is like I watch the episode live when it comes out. And to be honest, I don't fully internalize the episode when I'm watching it live because I'm kind of just going, oh shit, and like, you know, live reacting with people in like Discords and stuff. So like I'll rewatch the episode and take notes, and it's gives me more of an appreciation of the show watching the episode the second time, knowing what happens while also like taking attention to the finer details, because I'm also just like, oh, there's good character work and things being set up that they call back to later in the episode. The show's good.
Yeah, I've only watched, well, I guess I've watched episode 2 twice. I don't count the first time, really. But I should rewatch them because I do feel... Teruaki and Yasunobu, I feel like I still don't have a good handle on compared to the rest of the cast, and I feel like I'm not paying close enough attention to their scenes and characterization.
Yeah, I mean, I think I can boil them down both to one thing. Teruaki is the fun one in that he's the anxious guy, and Bando is the fun one in that he's the chill, goofy guy.
Mm-hmm.
Teruaki is very serious for funny in the funny way.
Yeah. Also, since I didn't get the chance to say it last week, whoever was the fucking genius in the meeting room for the planning stages of the show that went, what if we gave the SSSP a Mecha Godzilla? Fucking clap. Huge applause.
Yeah.
Genius.
Yeah, Earthgaron is so cool. Fantastic suit, fantastic design. Like, it looks cool in toy form, but just like, you know, the suit is it's cool all around. Cool suits this season, especially because they're all original, for as far as I can tell. There haven't been any returning kaiju yet, so that's cool.
I gotta say, just aesthetically, I love the look of the show, and not like the kaiju look good, but even Blazar's design and like the effects around like the lens and all that stuff is incredible. I love Earthgaron. The scarred suits and all that too. Like, I love the shade of blue they're using.
Yeah, it's a really cool.
Everything looks great.
Yeah, it's okay. So I'm gonna say it now, so I don't have to say it next week when we're doing. We're probably gonna have a really long "What have we been up to" segment in our next episode. I saw Shin Kamen Rider in the past week, and I gotta be honest, the Blazar as a show looks better in effects wise than Shin Kamen Rider the film does.
It does. It does.
It's so, the effects in Shin Kamen Rider are so bad. Like, not always bad, but just really corny, and like Blazar just looks fantastic, and it just kind of like, it feels like even I don't think it'll be applied to all shows because, you know, Super Eye has its coming and goings in terms of its financial hardships, but like when Super Eye is on top of their game, it feels like they just easily outclass Toei in all respects. And I guess Shin Kamen Rider is more like licensed by Toei to someone else, but still, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I definitely agree with you on that front. This show is just a visual spectacle.
Yeah.
And again, I don't like, the most recent Toku thing I've watched outside of this is Kamen Rider Build, which is, I think, a half decade old at this point, even.
No, I aged. I don't want to think.
That's right?
It's 2018, so yes, it would be.
Yes,
it's approaching 5 years old. I don't want to think about the fact that Kamen Rider Build is 5 years old.
So yeah, I don't have a lot to like compare this to other than like the like Shin Ultraman, Shin Kamen Rider stuff, but the show is doing well visually.
I think the show may be on par with Shin Ultraman, because Shin Ultraman is like a CG fest.
Yeah,
and this show is more practical, and it shows in how good it looks. Also, I'll just say here, if you want more thoughts on Shin Kamen Rider, just listen to whatever Rasen said when he brought it here before, and also his podcast with Fang, because I feel like anything I'd say, they already said. Like,
Okay, I was about to say. I was curious how you lined up with me and Fang. I met Fang also too. Since we last recorded, I guess I could save this for whenever we do
Yeah,
other
well,
stuff. But
it's fine for you to mention it, but we can go like more in depth next week.
yeah, because I do want to talk about this fucking episode because Ultraman from the future answered one of my asks that I think is going to be in that upcoming Ultra 7 episode where I left a note saying, man, it would be really cool if this show just allowed itself to have, like, still have kaiju and aliens and stuff, but it would be really neat to have, like, more human villains or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
And we get a scumbag CEO this episode.
Oh, he's so scummy. It's so funny. So let's start. Like, this is an Emmy focus episode, which is cool because Emmy is one of the highlights of the show for me so far.
She's great.
Yeah, and the setup is that like there's a kaiju called Liviera who just keeps showing up, and this one company, Noveo, has this substance called FK1, which is the GGF is using and successfully taking out the kaiju every single time, but like the kaiju keeps coming back, and each time it comes back, it's more. They need more and more of the substance to like take it out, so it's building up an immunity. And Emmy's like, "This is sus. We should investigate this company because it is weird that this company has a monopoly on the kaiju killing substance, and also they have a subsidiary which has a product that is like a genetically modified sea angel, which is potentially genetically similar to the kaiju." Yeah, the setup for the episode is very cool.
I love the phrase. Was it something man-made sea angel gets used, and I was just like, that is such a great description of a of a monster for a show like this.
Yeah. You get lots of good shots where like Gento and Emmy are meeting at an aquarium and doing like the passing intel to each other via text. And also work to great effect later when they try and do a setup of... They orchestrate a scene to like intentionally let the corporate agents know that Emmy's going to break in so she can purposely get caught, and then Gento can intervene. Lots of good stuff going on. And also just the aquarium is like a cool shots in the aquarium just all around.
It's good.
Yeah. We get some good Earth Garon action in this episode.
Yeah, I adore, like, it's cool when you get the stuff with like the like Ultraman or Ultra 7 fighting side by side with like the crew members or whatever in the older stuff that we've watched, but just like the 1-2 punch of seeing Bestial screaming and like Primal Instinct Giant of Light fighting alongside like fake Mechagodzilla shooting rockets and stuff, and they get like a little bit of like tag team action going with freezing this thing and blowing it up. It rules. It goes.
Yeah, like it really helps this episode. I think that like Blazar is able to defeat the kaiju because of Earth Garon's help.
Yes,
by like throwing liquid nitrogen at it. I mean, technically speaking, I want to say the kaiju is dead at that point, but you know, Blazar lasers definitely make sure it's dead.
And also they... Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Sure. You go on.
Okay. The one thing I feel like every single time we've seen the Lance all 4 times, they do a good job of making it feel unique, which I guess going back to Kamen Rider, sometimes you get a rider kick and it's like, yep, that was the rider kick, we got the quota filled. Every time we get the Lance or like any sort of like energy weapon usage or whatever that Blazar's using, it feels distinct. Like this one, when he's charging it up, we get this really cool like from behind street level view of what it looks like, and it's sick as hell.
And yeah, I one thing I noticed is like when this time it hits the kaiju, there's like it almost feels like reality is cracking when it hits and pauses for a moment before it explodes, and it's really sick.
It's good.
It's a good contrast to like it's a good contrast to last week where Blazar just whips out real quick and just stabs the kaiju.
Yeah.
I like the characterization on the CEO because of how ridiculous his ego is.
But my favorite bit, I guess my favorite bit of the episode is Gento hitting his head. That was funny, but
that was good.
My favorite, they don't pay point attention to it, but the way that you get to this guy's secret lair is by having two pictures of himself, scan faced. Well, actually, no, I guess that there's the eye reader thing.
Yeah, it's himself, but Emmy, there's a poster of him in the office with an eye scanner in the eyes, and she uses a photo of him as in the eye scanner.
Yes. The broader bit is more so just this guy has photos and magazine covers of himself framed everywhere.
He insists on doing 30-minute meditation where he listens to him a song about how great he is to himself. And it's a good bit first when Emmy breaks into the vault. First she finds a document which is just more documents of himself, and she just throws it away, and that's it. And he's just dang, is everyone in the GGF this discarding with documents? And then later we have him completely cowarding after the kaiju is beaten, and you have his AirPods out playing the song while you see his magazine articles burning, and it's a good.
Yeah, it's real solid. Somewhere in there, the song lyrics mention something like "I am a god" or something.
Yeah. Also, I feel like me and some other people are immediately thinking of the Jiras episode, the way the guy was talking about the kaiju as his baby and his incredibly inflated ego.
Yeah, it's funny because I at first I was the chemical stuff. This reminded me a lot of the Pegula stuff, and then that came up. I'm this is just the monster, the dinosaur, under the lake lab or whatever.
Yeah.
I guess this is kind of leaping ahead, but you watched the next episode preview, right?
Yeah.
It's just Gomez.
Oh yeah, I guess so.
It's a monster with a prophecy thing sealed in a mountain. I was oh, huh.
I feel like that's just a recurring trope in the franchise. It's an easy one to go to.
True.
There's a really cool fight in the basement with Emmy and Gento versus the goons.
Yes, the choreography on that was really good.
God, it's so sick. Gento comes in and the goons go after him while the CEO just takes a gun and takes one of the goons' guns and points at Emmy, and Gento's Emmy, can I use your help? And then she immediately without even no hesitation, just completely disarms the CEO and starts taking out the other guy, one of the goons, and it's so sick. She's so cool.
What I think is so fascinating, because both with Gento and Emmy, I feel their actors are solid at doing the fight choreography stuff, but not outstanding. But the way that it's shot and framed and just all of the filmmaking magic going behind it, they squeeze out every bit of coolness that they can, and it looks phenomenal.
Yeah,
even though when you break down the actual movement and stuff, it's this is just serviceable action, but it's so dynamic in how it's shot. I love it.
Yeah, and I feel we don't get I feel it's not a spoiler to say we probably don't get too many human versus human fights in Ultraman, just generally. So it is kind of a nice treat to be able to see it.
Yeah, it was there's a bit where the CEO has a gun and is shooting at Emmy as she runs, and you see the bullet sparks behind her as she runs. I'm this is not something I would expect from a show like this, but it's sick, and I'm happy it's here.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And again, of course, knocks him out.
Yeah.
Yeah, the plan. It's funny how the plan was. Oh yeah, he's doing the corporate we're going to make the kaiju to make our product sell forever kind of thing.
Yeah.
But his goal isn't money, but also is stroking his ego.
Yeah.
and he just has a cryo tank for some reason, which is it's crazy.
Yeah, just for fun. Which again ends up being important because like the liquid nitrogen at the end.
Yeah,
but
yeah, they have lots of things set up. Like I feel like you get some
it's a well put together show.
Yeah,
episode to episode.
You got Teraraki, I think, is like has some emotional core in this episode because he's apparently the guy who found the lead, which Emma is going after, and he's like blaming himself because she thinks he's putting her at risk because apparently Emmy has been doing this since she's 17, which is nuts. There's a nice characterization in the conversation where Gento's like, it could be a coincidence. Emmy's like, everything's a scam if you dig deep enough, to be honest. I know.
I love the little conversation they have at the end with the flowers or whatever.
Yeah, the flower stuff is actually like really good this episode. Because we first get the flowers halfway through where she's snooping the office and like the CEO comes in and she like quickly like hides it and like you can't tell if he knows something is suspicious, but he talks about the flowers. And she's like, oh yeah, these flowers are for about like, elegance and dignity. I thought they'd suit you because like she's using the flowers to like stroke his ego, which I thought was cool. And then later in the episode, she's like, here's some flowers for your family. And I think when Gento's like, oh yeah, I know what this means, and then she like runs off before he can explain it. And she says to herself, oh yeah, it's a flower for gratitude. Well, I thank you too. And it's good stuff.
Well, she says something specifically like, don't worry about the significance or something. It's like, that's so good.
Yeah. It is interesting because like we only got like one photo of Gento's like wife and kid, but we know they're like important to him, obviously, as one would hope. But it is interesting because we haven't seen them on screen yet. But it's also interesting, like, Emmy is just like, oh yeah, here's some flowers for your wife. But also it's like as a gift of a way of communicating. They're both like communicating with each other there as their bond, which is cool. It's good stuff.
One other thing I wanted to note, because the last time I was on was episode 1 where we talked about like, oh, this Ultraman's fucked up and like bestial. Yeah. Last episode, I know you two touched on it or whatever, where, like, he's having a little bit of a moment because he can't grab onto the thing, and he goes, like, hot, 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 or whatever. Yeah. But, like, there's a point in this episode where he's, like, he's being grappled by the sea angel monster or whatever, and he's, like, whimpering in a way that sounds very, like, pathetic, kind of, and, like, childish, and it's good. I enjoy how it's all, like, id.
Yeah. He's a part where he's, like, his face is inside the kaiju's mouth and he is not enjoying it.
Yeah, and it would have been fun. Like, there's a world where this show treats Ultraman Blazar as if he is just Ava Unit 1 Berserk mode the entire time. I am happy they did not do that, and instead are just like, oh no, he is like, he has a full range of emotions, and he just expresses them in the most simplistic, like, very, like base impulse way.
Like, even in episode 1, you have, like, him acting more standoffish and bestial to like protect someone kind of thing. So there's like Blazar's more complex than just like the berserker creature. He's like it's cool. And more complex too when you factor into like the dual identity of like how much is Gento in control and how much is Blazar like a separate entity, because like Blazar
I think it's so cool that they're playing that kind of as a mystery for like like what happened with the backstory in that hallway. And
because like Blazar is obviously like communicating with Gento as like a separate thing. That's what like the thing with the rock and the transformation toy comes up, but also like Gento has like obviously awareness and maybe some degree of control, and how much is that? It's hard to say. Yeah. Also, the gag where like Gento gets the thing on his wrist and he has to hide it, and he's like, Emmy, you should leave. I'll hold it off with this gun. She's like, how? Yeah. Just go.
Just how? It's so good.
And he has to get her to go away so he can transform. It's really really good stuff.
Yeah. Just good good monster of the week show so far.
Yeah.
Zero complaints on my end. It's a fun time.
I think while I'm also at it, I think on the topic of gags, they also there's like another good like low key gag where like Gento's about to leave the van and he hits his head and Gento's like, "You okay? What happened?" And Gento's like, "Don't worry about it." And it's just like
that's my favorite bit this episode.
It's like a casual low key gag thrown into the middle of like ordinary dialogue. It's not like they're calling much attention to it. Like as much as like it is like a filmed thing on screen, so obviously it's going to be on attention to a degree, but it's not like, the pivot of the scene is the gag. It's more like just a thing that's like added in while the main point of the scene is Gento's going out kind of thing. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's just like good humorous natural dialogue. I think that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't think I got anything else. This is just a really fun show every Friday.
I mean, to be fair, we've been podcasting for about as long as the episode is, so I think we did get most of what we can't get too much blood out of the stone.
No, and I mean we're in the. I think I'm expecting 1 to 3 more episodes of like, pretty typical following the formula stuff, and then I'm curious to see what they do after that. This show could just be this every episode, and I would be fine. But I'm also curious too if they're gonna try to mix things up or make some other stuff happen. Again, I don't have any experience with modern Ultra stuff, so I don't know how they typically handle that. So I'm curious to see.
Yeah. I feel like what's probably gonna happen, my guess, is that we're probably gonna get, because like next episode preview is like an honorary focus episode, so I'm assuming we're gonna get a couple more focus episodes for the rest of the Scarred Gang. So we'll have a Bando episode and a Teriyaki episode, not necessarily in this order, but we'll get them. Wouldn't surprise me if we also get a Gento episode, but I imagine because he's like the protagonist, a Gento episode might also be like the one where like the status quo shifts or like a new plot rebel vision is revealed.
Or like huge flashback of what was going on. Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see. We're like next week will be a fifth of the way through the show, so I guess we'll see.
That's wild.
Yeah. Modern Ultraman is shorter than most of the other stuff.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's like, dang, there's value to having a 50 episode show, but there's also pros and cons to 25 episode shows. And I think the best of Modern Ultraman leverages the strengths of having a shorter show format, and hopefully Blazar will be the same.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, one thing that we talked about with Red a couple weeks ago was that like the show is already done filming, so they're probably like starting pre-production on next year's season already, but like this show's already done about around the time when the show starts airing, so that's probably convenient in a way. Like everything's planned in advance and done in advance, and then they don't have to worry about like.
That seems like a nice smooth operation.
Yeah, I think when you're Sentai and Rider, you're definitely more changing things on the fly. Like, I don't know how far ahead production is for Kamen Rider, but like it's definitely like. The last the episodes are being made while the show is airing, kind of thing. So
yeah,
it's a different situation.
Yeah. The only other thing I have to say is, if you are listening to this and you like the Earth Garon stuff, please watch Godzilla against Mechagodzilla and perhaps even its sequel, Godzilla Tokyo SOS. A lot of good Mechagodzilla action in those movies.
I will do that when I get to them in release order.
That's
fair. As we slowly, both of us, pick away at the Godzilla movies.
Oh, fuck, I gotta get back to that.
The
only reason I watched them ahead was because I wanted to see Tokyo SOS in theaters.
Yeah. Yeah. Just let me know when you do. Just let me know when you watch the next one, so I'll do it.
Yeah, I think Godzilla versus Kong is my next one. Well, I'll do that for next week.
Yeah, I don't think it's the next one in release order, but like it was the one you said you were going to do next.
Yeah.
I have the spreadsheet in our spreadsheet for the Godzilla movies just in case, because I thought, hey, why not?
Yeah, true.
So you can just like reference that.
I kind of want to watch that one. I'll watch it for next week.
Okay, I'll rewatch it then too, because that one's a good one. Racism aside.
Yeah. So everyone at home, here's your homework for. No. You don't have to watch along with us if you don't want to. But you should for Ultraman and Ultra 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This time it's Ultra 7. I guess Blazar's Ultraman.
Blazar is Ultraman. Do you think they'll ever have, like, a third Ultra thing? They probably do that I just don't know of, but, like...
Like what?
Like Ultra...
I mean, technically Q is it.
Word. Well, I guess that is a third thing, technically, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is weird, because, like... Q is his own thing that isn't brought out as much. And 7 is retroactively a man.
The patriarchy ruins everything.
Yeah, I watched a movie about that last week. Can't talk about it. It struck work, though.
Damn.
But what I will do, because I brought it up, gives me an excuse to mention that, to show you this image that will give you context for that thing that I said earlier this week that got me confused.
Oh.
Look at this image.
This is for nobody. Nobody will understand this, but I appreciate this.
I was like, wait, I was like, wait a minute, that sweater is a lot like the one Rasen shared. And then I was like, wait a minute, the timeline doesn't match up, but
wow. I can't believe it.
It is it was a good movie, for the record. Which movie is it? You'll never know.
True.
Also, I should do color timers.
Yeah.
This one is 3 minutes 55 seconds.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, I thought I saw Did I see a thing somewhere that, like, one of the crystal growth thingies on the Blazar suit is supposed to be a scar that, like, healed over or something?
I saw that on Twitter, that was a thing. I don't know. I didn't look into it too much, but, like, that is a cool thing, I think.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, is this real or did someone just fucking say this?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely, like, stuff that it's nice to have context for. We're getting snippets. Yeah. It's different covering a show week to week, that's for sure.
True.
Let me tell you, I haven't seen episode 12 of Ultra 7, but I did do the research on it. Which is an interesting way of doing it, so I have, like, context for the episode before going into it, but, you know.
I am in the dark.
Have you seen episode 10 or 11 yet?
Nope.
That's fair. I guess you did come back.
I knew we weren't doing them, and I prefer to have them fresher in my head rather than distant.
Yeah, like, if I knew, I wouldn't have watched those ones either, but, you know, it's fine.
Yeah. Podcasting, it's a thing.
Yeah, I'll watch episode 12 later this week.
I think we're good then.
Yeah, so. I think we're done. Hey, everyone. There will be episode 10 to 12. No, not this week. Episode
7 through 9.
7 through 9, which we recorded last week, should be coming out this week. So if you haven't watched it, maybe you did, because we did drop the announcement last minute. Hey, I'll be there next week.
I'm curious to see if I wildly enjoyed episodes that you two thought were mid again. That was funny.
That was funny.
Listen, they're running around spaceships shooting lasers and funny little alien men. It was a good time.
It is cool. It is cool when Ultra 7 runs through a spaceship and just, like, kills, like, 5 of the same alien.
I was shocked you two did not enjoy it as much as I did. But
listen, that's stiff competition that week.
True.
Me trying to decide if I like the Pegasa or Metron episode more, because they're both really good.
Mm-hmm. All right, see you, everyone.
Yeah, wait, we didn't do plugs.
Fuck.
This is why we need it ready.
Yeah. All three of us make a perfect trifecta of smooth podcasting that as soon as one member is absent.
Apparently.
We're a lot like Scarred in a way.
Yes.
Anyways, yeah, I'm at Rosenbrand on Twitter. I'm also rosenbrand.whatever the fuck on Blue Sky now. Follow me there. I'm trying to slowly, I think, leave Twitter because I don't like it.
Because it's called X now.
Shut the fuck up. I'm
not
doing that. I'm not calling it. I refuse.
I felt like even with this kind of Twitter, I've been mostly fine with it, but then the X rebranding on mobile specifically just killed my vibe in a way I didn't expect.
I I had the experience where I mostly didn't look at Twitter for like a week and a half because I was on that vacation, and then I came back and like I was just like I don't like this anymore.
Yeah.
And like the one thing that killed it for me is that like verified users who are just the worst human beings,
Yeah.
are now given priority in reply chains. So every time I see a tweet and I want to scroll down to see the conversation, I'm like, oh, you're just giving me the dumbest fucking people weighing in now.
Yeah.
Great. So
it's amazing how in this socioeconomic system one guy can take control of an entire socially significant platform and ruin everything about it single-handedly.
Fucking, you know what's the worst? If I had flown out of San Francisco one day later, I could have been there in person to see the shit going down with the Twitter HQ sign being removed and replaced with the X. I could have seen the shit show live.
Oh my god.
Because Fang was showing me around because he was walking me around. We ended up getting Ty. And we were just walking around. He's like, oh yeah, down that way is the Crunchyroll office. A few blocks over there is Twitter. And like he was just showing me around San Francisco. And then we went to Fisherman's Wharf for a bit and got some good Thai. It was a good time.
Yeah, I saw a tweet that was like, tweet is in the dictionary. What the fuck is he doing?
Yeah.
Taking that brand recognition.
Yeah. Also, my co-host is Rasen Brand too, and I think I'm going to try I've been bad about co-host just because it's like, I don't know what I'm doing on there, really. But I think I might use that as an excuse to try doing some longer form writing stuff.
Yeah, I kind of like co-host because I don't know how I feel about going back to Tumblr, but co-host is Tumblr-esque, which makes it harder for me to go back to, just in terms of like my brain has shifted to a different style of online posting. But like, you know,
yeah,
it has good vibes.
And then also my YouTube channel is Rasen Brand. I think that's it.
Yeah. If you want to follow the podcast on Twitter, for how long that'll last, you can do so at ultra_q. We have YouTube, ultraQ. We have an email address, ultraQpod@gmail.com. We have a coffee for the media sub-acquisition stuff, ultraQ Fund. That's all the podcast stuff out of the way. For me, I am at Dear Crowns on Twitter, the Blue Sky, and co-host. I also have Cosmic_Crown on Twitch. They're not here, but Red is at gender_redacted on all those sites as well. And I think that should be everything.
Yeah. Soon we will get the whole gang back together.
Yeah, hopefully next week.
Yeah.
The Empire, long divided, must unite. I have been reading the book again, and that's been nice. Finally got to Con Ming, Jesus Christ. Wilco. I really liked it when Guan Yu said Wilco did Liu Bei.
True.
I am hoping Red enjoys listening to this.
Same. All right, have a good night, everyone.
Yeah, okay, we're out of here. Bye.